Racing back at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on this Wednesday. We're now on a racing routine. Big fields to look forward to yet again as we continue along through April. There's a lot to look forward to. We are racing again on Monday and the following Monday, but don't despair. They're not working days. They're public holidays. So come and join us here on this Wednesday and next Monday and the following Monday as well. 21st and 28th are the dates to put into a diary. May things get quite serious here in the Western Cape again with some feature races, including the Legal Eagle Stakes and also the Pocket Power Stakes. Those will be at the start of May and the end of May respectively. Some two-year-old features coming your way, the Langamans in June. Obviously champion season not too far away. That officially starts in KZN at the beginning of May, and there's still one more day of the championships up in Joburg. So racing fans are in for a feast of action. Now, as far as this Wednesday is concerned, massive fields do make things quite complicated, and we exacerbate that by the fact that at the time of recording, we're just before the Monday meeting, there is no betting available, so we are going a little bit blind. However, if 2 or 3 of these bets click that I'm about to recommend to you, it'll be a memorable Wednesday. It'll certainly get us across the line as far as the rest of April is concerned. With Easter just around the corner, hopefully the stars will align for you. Let's get straight into it with race number 1. That's due to get underway at 5 to 12. Hollywoodbets Kenilworth welcomes you. Maiden Juvenile played for fillies over 1,000 metres. Only 4 horses of the 13 have race day experience, and it's all pretty compelling experience as well. A lot of form to work with. Nice to have some visiting jockeys come to town. Muzi Yeni, Cabello Matsanyani, Andrew Fortune. I don't know where he lives these days. We obviously got a couple of apprentices that have recently moved to Cape Town as well, and Craig Sackey's a regular here, so I wouldn't really classify him as a visiting jockey, but he will be getting on a plane to come to Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Wednesday all the same. Now, as for these 4 runners with form, let's kick off with the Muzieni factor and start with number 6, She's My World, the daughter of One World, trained by Justin Snaith. Muzi's on board, rode her on World Sports Bet in Cape Town Met Day, the race that we're having a look at right now, when she finished 4th behind Wild Green. I like what she's bringing to the table. I like the two runs that she's brought to the racetrack thus far. She started off in a hot maiden, that of course being the early juvenile race behind parental guidance, who was obviously well tuned up for the run, and then followed up with a nice run behind Wild Green, moved up 400 metres up, looking like she was going to be a big play, and then just got run out of it late. I think the 81 days off the track is likely to do her the world of good, and I think that Muzi's familiar with number 6, She's My World, is also bound to be a massive advantage. Other 3 runners with form in the race do make a lot of appeal. Number 1, Inside Voice, got a lot of scope to improve. Stayed on nicely behind Amen Corner on debut. Interesting to see how that form's going to work out, because at the moment we don't know. 2, What a Star. Don't really know what happened last time out in the slipper behind Military Command. She's a good deal better than that. The blinkers go on as well. Aldo De Mea takes her on. 3, Love Her Madly. Wherever She's My World is, Love Her Madly ought to be somewhere in the mix as well, having finished just behind Wild Green, although in a different race day. And all these first-timers make some sort of appeal genetically. We've even got Eric the Red's half-sister in here in the former number 8, My Dear Friend. Candice Bass Robinson trains, and Corne Orford takes the ride. And then also a few others. Number 4, Match That. You'd love to have that type of breeding in the yard by Gimme the Green Light out of a Western Winter mare. But all in all, as far as the form shows, and you might want to take a little stab around in race number 1, you'd suggest number 6, She's My World, might be the right one. But disclaimers apply. Watch the betting on the first timers. Race number 2 starts. The Bipot gets underway at 12:30. Cape Turf Club Syndicate's maiden plate. They go 1,200 metres, a field of 13 to face the starter. Again, a little bit of form to work with here. And what I'm most encouraged by is the form and the run of number 9, Day In, Day Out, trained by Vaughan Marshall and ridden by Sean Veal. The debut behind Military Command I thought was very pleasing. Military Command stepped forward significantly to win the Cape Racing Sale Slipper in middle of March, and I think Day In, Day Out has a lot of scope to improve. You'd suggest that that would probably be the case. Also ran into a little bit of traffic first time out when was green, was rolled in at a crucial stage, and also had to ease, and then found his feet like a thorough professional and found his feet at the end to stay on nicely behind Military Command. As mentioned, that form has been well franked, and I think that there's a lot more to come. And considering that at this stage of the game we don't have any case study as far as 2-year-olds against older opposition around the country, hasn't been much racing around the country through April, and obviously 2-year-olds are only allowed to run with their older contemporaries from the 1st of April. We don't know when that balance is going to come, when that time is going to strike for the 2-year-olds against those exposed maidens that are maidens at this time of the year for a reason, of the older company anyway. So I think if he's not biting off a little bit more than he can chew at this stage, number 9, Day In, Day Out, is my idea of the winner, especially with the fact that the form horse on the race hasn't been seen in 9 months. That's number 5, Ridian. Look at the form he's bringing to the picture. He was taken down to KZN for champion season last season, and although he's been beaten at 3-10 and 1-4 in the past, he's got some good numbers to his name. He's got runs to the likes of Talk to the Master, Great Plains and Chestnut Bomber, all of those horses rated 100 or just below, and you'd get the impression that first run after a gelding, if he doesn't need the run too badly, and obviously Dean Canamere does get his horses very fit indeed. Number 5, Ridian, will be a horse that you need to respect. Just check him out in the parade ring, watch the market on him as well, see if there are any clues that you can get for the son of Rafif. I wouldn't totally draw a line through a couple of others. 6 Spectacular, 7 Boundless Love are coming along the right way as well. 12 Ocean Sky, if a work rider's made it on debut, also has a lot of scope to improve with Musi in the saddle. But all in all, when it comes to race number 2, my recommendation is going to be box swingers, numbers 5 and 9, Ridian and Day In, Day Out. Race number 3 started the place accumulator, 1:05, Social Squad Syndicate Class 5. They go 1,200 metres. This is a swirl. 17 horses to face the starter. Thundering down the straight, so very difficult to get your teeth sunk into it and make a very educated decision about what's going to happen in race number 3. So where I'm going to lean towards is Sundays. Let's have a look at that run on the 22nd of March. The last time he was seen, there was at Hollywoodbets Dermaville when finishing, let's call it half a length behind Montlucier. Elder de Meo's back on board, got a lot of weight to carry, 62.5 kilograms, but he's come down to a workable mark. His form has got a lot closer to the winners now that his rating has come down from the high 80s down to a 71. And I think on the back of his last run where he ran into a little bit of traffic, he could be well set up. I'd like to say that he's probably a step better down the straight here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. 50% of his wins have come here, although we obviously, by law of averages, race more here at HQ than we do at the country course. But I think all in all, number 15, Sundays, could now be ripe to strike. He's not a horse that you can overly trust being a 6-year-old with 4 wins under the belt, but I think he'll be in and around the action. If he doesn't win, I think he'll go quite close. Lengthy list of dangers. I think number 6, Trippy Silk, is alive. I think number 7, True Horizon's alive. I'm loath to leave out number 8, Fort Red as well. Wherever Sundays does, number 9, Montlucier, ought to be right there as well. Montlucier obviously had the edge over Sundays with cheap pieces on last time out, so there could be that type of stability as far as the form is concerned. So a lot of horses can get into the action. 13, Tambourine Man, has also come into winning form as well, so he's not a horse to totally leave out. So when going into race number 3, I think to isolate this race as a race that you can have a bet in is for other punters. I'm going to say that this is the start of a winning place accumulator. Here are my numbers, spending quite a bit, but I think you have to on this card. 3, 7, 13 and 15, by 11 and 14, by 2, 6, 11 and 12, by Banker 6, we'll get to that in a moment, by 3 and 11, by 2 and 12, by 7, 10 and 12. Only one banker in my place accumulator on Wednesday. Let's go on to race number 4. Start of the pick 6. Cape Racing Class 4 for fillies and mares over 1,200 metres. It doesn't get any easier, does it? Lengthy list of horses. The short list is not too short here, but I'm going to recommend keeping a close eye on number 14, Miraculous. Brett and James Crawford train. Louis Otwa takes her out. This was the horse where everything suddenly turned for the Crawford team. It had been a rough start to 2025 with a lack of winners and head scratching and all sorts going on. And actually looking at Brett and James Crawford around the racetracks in South Africa was difficult for the first 2 months of the year. But then Miraculous came out and ran second to My Only Weakness, and boy was she unlucky. She was wide, she had no cover, she was exposed throughout, and no fault of anyone. They just went such a slow gallop that draw 9 out of 9 was just made to look really, really awkward. But she stuck around, she gutsed it out, and she finished second behind My Only Weakness. And I think now going down the straight with what's going to be a lot of company with 20 horses in the race, that I think with a big field that you're going to get a little bit of value as well. Don't forget 4 places, of course, on the totem as far as Hollywood bets are concerned. I think that she represents the horse that they all need to beat. Now that the Crawford yard is really back into the swing of things, banging home winner after winner, number 14, Miraculous, is my idea of the horse that they all need to beat. Now, Number 11, Tanneron, got to be a player as well. I think Pilot Flame got away with one last time out when Richard Ferree took the ride and beat Tanneron by a quarter of a length. Now, they meet on terms that are absolutely identical, but also the draw last time out for Tanneron I don't think suited. I think she's got a little bit more scope to improve. So my instinct, my gut feel is that number 11, Tanneron, will turn that form around when number 10, Pilot Flame, especially going back down the straight. So interesting dynamics there. 12, Priscilla Maisie with Grant Van on board for Glenn Cotson. Little rating drop. She's run with a lot better. She could be coming into a winning position as well. But I think all in all, the key horse in the race is Miraculous. Because it's such a big field, I think the Quartet is the way to go in race number 4. I'm going to double float 11 and 14 by the field. Hope something at a big price that is very much off the radar can get into the top 4 and make that Quartet pay. Race number 5, for me, the hottest race on the card. The Team Blue Syndicate Class 5 for fillies and mares over 1,400 metres. Jackpot 1 starts at 20 past 2. I'm not going to spend too much time in this race. As you would have noticed in my place accumulator, my 4 horses are 2, 6, 11 and 12. Let's have a look at Trey Sheik's run on the 8th of March. I think that's probably a key run to at least work out a little bit of what's going to happen here. Corne Orfa takes a ride for Pete Buerta back against her own sex. For what that's worth, down a pound in the ratings to 64. Banging at the door, not necessarily getting the rub of the green of late either, not necessarily putting it all together. Can we read anything to the fact that Pete Buerta's horses might run a length better at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth? I don't know. It's a very, very trappy race. A lot of horses in here with chances, but I think that Trey Sheik on that run that we've just had a look at could be well set up to at least give a whole lot of maidens something to think about. She got 59 kilograms. In fact, she receives a little bit of weight from some horses who are yet to win. But it is obviously one of those races that is a very, very low level with all due respect. So the pick 3, starting off in race number 5, that's races 5, 6 and 7. I've opened up with field. Thankfully, it's not a field of 20. It's only a field of 16, so you're multiplying the perm by 16 off the bat. By 6 and 10, by 1, 3, 6 and 11. Whatever happens in race number 5, I think you're going to be eliminating a lot of tickets in that pick 3, and there's a lot of value to be had on that bet. Race number 6, the race of the day, the Wolf Power Syndicate B Stakes over 1,500 metres. I really like the look of this race, and I like the look of some of the horses that line up. It's a field of 10, but I think the key here is what happened last time out behind Captain West, where World of Pleasure finished in front of Mauritius Kestrel. And yes, there was a good 3 1/4 lengths between them on that occasion. And yes, World of Pleasure has a valuable swing at the weight, should, in theory, stay in front of Mauritius Kestrel. However, third run after a break for a horse that was rated 105, that earned his rating to the likes of Makazole, all out for 6 and 8 on 18. I think it's been a slow burn. It's only the third run for Adam Marcus. We know that Adam doesn't come them up banging that chest first time out. So I think the son of Vercingetrix could run a much better race, and if he doesn't turn the form around with World of Pleasure, who I anticipate is going to go very close, if he doesn't win, he'll be right in the money as well. I think Mauritius Kestrel has some sort of chance of at least closing that deficit. Yes, they meet on identical terms, but World of Pleasure also having his third run after a break, it's impossible to totally ignore his chances. But using a case study and using the facts and the stats from all around the country, 3-year-olds are beating these older horses left, right and centre. Is that a clue in itself when going into Africa's greatest horse race in about 2.5 months' time? Well, we'll learn a lot more when we separate the wheat from the chaff down in Durban. But the statistics show. Look at Hollywoodbets Scottsville on Sunday. I salute you, winning the World Sports Betting Sledgehammer, beating older horses. So it's happening all over the place. Little bit of a hint there. So in race number 6, I think that the 2 horses are key, and I think they're going to stack up as running into the top 3. So in race 6, I'm suggesting box swingers 6 and 10, Mauritius Kestrel and World of Pleasure. Race 7, race Cape Power by Hollywoodbets Class 4 for fillies and mares over 1,600 metres. Start of Jackpot 2 off at 3:30. Now there are a few horses here that I'm a fan of. Not necessarily today, but as far as the future is concerned, horses who I think have got wins to come, certainly in the winter, that bear watching. I think it's an open race as well, yet again, stuck record I am, but let's have a look at Hampstead Heath on the 8th of March. I think she's my idea of the most reliable horse in the race. She's got a bit of an awkward draw. Elder De Meo takes her out for Adam Marcus, but she's run against better opposition than this. She's got a lot of weight to carry as well. But course and distance form stacks up well. 6 starts, 2 wins and 3 places. She ran against Boys last time. Now, that race was a weird one as we have a look at it. Let it be said, was almost uncontrollable on that occasion. Went off to the front on a track that was running lightning fast at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. It was hard to make up ground. I think the pace that, let it be said, went was something that the catalyst to allow horses to make up the ground, because he was running on empty. But he stole the race. He wouldn't be able to run like that so easily at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. So I think Hampstead Heath, back against her own sex, down in grade, and on a track that suits her a little better, I think could be well set up here. Ratings also come down a pound for what it's worth. She's got form to the very solid Call Me Getrix and Gimme That Pearl as well. That just boosts her chances, in my opinion. And I like the way that Adam Marcus's horses are currently running. He was busy at the sales up on the half vault as well. Other horses that come into the play, 1, 3 and 6. Number 1, Enchanting Choice, although winning comes at a premium. I think draw 1's going to suit her nicely. She'll be coming with a good late rattle if she gets the gaps. She could be very dangerous. 3, Pentalina's banging form. I think that she's an easy horse to read, because when she, I wouldn't say lost her way, but when she was running out of the money, she looked a little flat. Maybe her colour wasn't quite right. But since that break, Vaughan Marshall's got her back into the swing of things. Her penultimate start to Give Me Everything looks like it's glowing at the moment, because Give Me Everything has subsequently won a listed feature and went down to KZN and won in good style. And then number 6, Pocket Dial. I'm still of the opinion that there's a lot more to come from the daughter of Trippy. I think that she's got better days ahead, and she could be winning a few races this winter. But the key horse in the race is number 11, Hampstead Heath. It's a start of Jackpot 2, which I'm going to throw your way. 1, 3, 6 and 11, by 2, 10 and 12, by 3, 5, 6, 7, 10 and 12, by 3 and 10 in race number 10. Let's now go on to the 8th race, Champagne Syndicate D Stakes over 1,600 metres. Champagne Syndicate, of course, run by Gwen McGregor, so hit her up and find out what's cracking as far as those syndicate options are concerned, and all of them around the Western Cape. It's a field of 17 that face the starter, and it's difficult to be overly confident about anyone. I think number 2, Beer With The Boys, sets the standard. A lot of weight to carry, 64 kilograms. Musi, and he's 64. Who's going to carry that saddle into the parade ring? That's going to be an interesting exercise to see who's going to carry all that weight. That's a gym, a morning in the gym, or an afternoon in the gym in its own, carrying Musi's saddle with all that dead weight. But number 2, Beer With The Boys, typical Silvano, coming into his own, stepping up time and time again. Big player. But the race that we're going to have a look at belongs to number 12, Gripen. Hollywoodbets Dermanville, 22nd of March. We're making up a lot of ground behind Montlucia. Obviously, we've got that form under the spotlight a little bit earlier on in the day. Out of that race is also a horse called Bang Street, who's been on my radar for probably too long, but never really had luck with draws and luck in running. But I think that right here, right now, number 12, Gripen, the maiden, might have the advantage yet again over Bang Street. I like the penultimate start even more when there was support for this under Visionaire, from 10 to 1 down to 3 to 1. Ran half a length behind Arbitration. Now, Arbitration, I think, has also got some good days to come, and I think the more he races and the further he goes, the better he will be. I'm not convinced Gripen has had the best luck in running. I think going back over a mile with Corne Orfer on board, judging by the way he hit the line last time at Hollywoodbets Dermanville, he might be cherry ripe to give a good performance. An 11-start maiden, not a horse that I could put the rent money on, but is a horse that I think we can recommend to run into the top 3. So I'm going to stack him up as an each-way play, but we'll visit that in just a moment. As you would have noticed by my Jackpot 2, numbers 2 and 10 very much in the play. We've spoken about number 2, Beer With The Boys. Number 10, Midway, I've got an inkling now with his rating coming down yet again. The Crawford Yard, banging form that he'll run a much better race as a half-brother to Illuminator, the winner of the Investec Race of Dreams just under a decade ago. That feels like an eternity ago. But number 10, Midway, is just my kicker of a little bit of value. But each way, number 12, Gripen, I think if he doesn't win, he'll run into the top 4. And again, as far as each way plays are concerned, with a big field, you've got a little bit of extra oomph behind you, and that extra place is going to make a big difference. Race number 9, perfectly placed, class 4, 1,600 metres, field of 14. Good race this. Is King's Quest going to get the trip? I think he's a lovely horse. I think he's got wins to come. A mile? Don't know. Anyway, let's have a look at King's Quest on World Sports Betting Cape Town Met Day, 25th of January, when running third behind Legal Counsel. He obviously stepped up and won again. I know he was a beaten favourite, Hollywoodbets Scottsville on Sunday. But I still like the form. I like Legal Counsel as a horse, and I like the fact that King's Quest is still gathering himself up. He's a handsome-looking son of Kurari, ridden by Aldo de Meyer for Candice Bass-Robinson. His only run over this distance was the one that we just had a look at when he ran just under 3 lengths behind Please Be True. A lot of nice horses in and around King's Quest, horses that would stack up in a race of this nature as well. So I think from all those factors, he's a horse that holds a lot of respect when going into the penultimate. He finished in front of Unicorn Alert as well, who's consistent and doesn't look out of place in a race of this nature. But what about the others? What about the horses that also come into the play? Well, Unicorn Alert ought to be somewhere in there. Hoodie is going to be very dangerous. Arbitration, I just mentioned, is a horse coming into his own. Azuri punches above his weight. But there's a rating dropper in here with an apprentice allowance in the former number 10, Sail to the Moon. Brevin Pleikes takes the ride for Eric Sands. This horse is a 3-year-old, was 5 1/4 lengths behind Tail of the Comet, where he maintained his rating of a high 70. He's down to a 72 with an extra 2.5 kilos off the back. Now, it's hard riding at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. You go left-handed, you're dealing with the wind, you're dealing with the pace. If Brevin Pleikes has a little bit of an education around Hollywoodbets Kenilworth and gets to grips quickly going into this Wednesday card, he has a seriously dangerous horse. There's been money for number 10, Sail to the Moon in the past, and I think that he's going to go very close. I think he's overdue, and I think his rating's now cherry ripe for him to pick up a big performance. So, and also Touchdown comes into the play as well. I really liked him last time at Hollywoodbets Dermaville, but sadly we never got that far. So he's another horse to respect. So as far as race number 9 is concerned, let's box up the swingers 7 and 10. 10th and last race, Hollywoodbets Bright Future D Stakes over 1,000 metres. And here we have the Country Championships log leader, Electric Fields, who's just been the pink of health this season. She's had 9 starts. She's earned a check every single time. Even when she runs out the top 3, she runs 4th. She takes home a few shekels. And I think now, with her last run being her career best, and I'll tell you why. She's always been a horse that's had no run-in whatsoever. She had a run-in from this side of the table to that side of the table. But Pumium Jorka has now got a tune out of her. He's figured her out. And last time, Pumi was able to push the button a little bit earlier, and she was able to maintain that kick, which I think was a massive step in the right direction for this daughter of William Longsword. I think her consistency is admirable, and the fact that she's been well placed, just chipping away, the handicap is just giving her the amount of points that she needs just to keep her honest, but still off a high 50. She could be still well placed. She's got to get to the end of the country championships on top of the log. She's well clear at the moment, so every point is going to matter from here on in. And I think she's found the right type of field to at least be in the top 3 yet again. She does stack up as the most reliable horse in the race. But if we have a look at that last run that we've just paid some attention to, Country Time finished 2 1/4 lengths behind her, has a very good swing at the weights. Yes, that's by virtue of an apprentice allowance. Over the Atlantic, Gravity, Champagne Mac, Wiley Jack, Explicit Content, all horses out of that run. They ought to get a little bit closer. Country Time with a swing at the waist to finish in front. But can we trust Country Time? Is she a horse that we can put all our eggs into that basket? I'm not convinced. I think that she'll go very close all the same. And then number 7, Gravity, lovely handsome son of Kurari Corneorfa takes a ride. He ought not to be all that far away. And if you even go back to the 1st of February when Electric Fields won in the fire that was happening in the cricket ground just over the road, Gravity does have a good pull at the weight to the tune of 3 kilos for a 1/4 of a length. So Gravity is very much alive in the race as well. But as far as pure effort is concerned, evergreen, putting your heart on the line time and time again, and almost nailing on to a top 3. Number 3, Electric Fields, should give another good account. So the quartet's bound to pay a lot of money when going into the back, and this is what I'm going to recommend. Double float 3 and 10 by the field. So that's a lengthy preview for Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Wednesday, but it's a lengthy card. There's a lot of horses running, packed fields, 10 races to run along with. And even though I said it's wildly competitive at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on this Wednesday, we'll have a lot of fun. We just need 2 or 3 of those bets to click, and it will be a profit-making day. Looking forward to the action. If you're coming, come and say hello, be a part of it all. We're back here on Monday. That'll be a public holiday, so we'll see you then. That'll be Easter Monday. But for now, enjoy all the racing from around the country. That'll keep you entertained for the next few days. And until next time, good racing.